All right, so next up, our second talk today will be given by the dynamic duo from University of Michigan, Mary Allure and Sherry Hicks, who both have scleroderma, a rare and devastating disease. However, they have successfully navigated the various challenges and will be speaking about breaking through scleroderma's invisible struggles from isolation to connection.
Thank you, Dr. Khanna. Mary and I, first of all, we are a team here, but I'm going to be the big mouth and she'll be the clicker today. But we just want to thank you for coming out today. I think that being here for the first time, seeing the patients that are here and all the medical professionals, it's just an overwhelmingly amazing experience. So thank you for coming out today. We do have a disclosure again. Sorry, we don't have any money. Keep going there. Today our learning objectives are simple. We just want to show you where our hearts are. In this transition from going to helping patients, we want the word isolation to be no more and connection to be everything. I'm going to share my story and the life changes that actually happened to me, and how patients manage life in a very connected way. So here you're looking at my son and I in Tucson, Arizona, about 16 years ago. We were blessed with two families that had ranches. So I was so excited because the life I envisioned there was horseback riding. We could go hiking in the mountains. It was going to be a beautiful picture, if you can imagine the desert backscape here. I wanted that life to be full of peace, to be full of calm and true happiness, until I wasn't well, and then my life shattered. The picture of my life became like a messy 1,000-piece puzzle that was no longer put together. In 2007, I received a life-changing diagnosis. I noticed painful ulcerations on my fingertips, and my fingers were very hard and swollen. The pain of the ulcers was so unbearable, it would be like you pouring lemon juice maybe in a paper cut. I couldn't take care of my baby. I could not change his diaper. The fatigue, the extreme exhaustion, it was just too much for daily life. The little fork thing, by the way, the little fork thing is perfect to illustrate this, and I'll tell you about that later. But I just really needed somebody to help me out. But what we did, we figured out gastro issues over time. They were kind of embarrassing, actually. I felt like my skin would just break open if I made a fist. I felt like I had dry, itchy eyes. All of my joints hurt. What was going on? Everything felt stiff. After about a year, I was really blessed too. After about a year, I learned what my diagnosis actually was. It was called Scleroderma, a word I could hardly pronounce, let alone know what it is at all. I couldn't ignore it. And here you're going to see kind of a snarky picture of myself. This wasn't too long ago, but I have a treatment for Raynaud's where you inject Botox into each hand for circulation, hopefully. And I was a little snarky. I'm sure somebody close to me took this. I wasn't thrilled having 2 hands bandaged because all I could think of was, for 24 hours, how am I going to use the restroom? But anywho, I figured that out. But I felt so alone in this diagnosis. I didn't look sick to people. I hope I don't look sick to you today. My invisible symptoms really caused me lots of harsh negative judgment from others is what I felt, whether it was true or not. And as confident as I was, I started to lose some of that, of my identity, question who I was. I knew I needed help and quick, or I was just going to give up. I no longer felt or knew what my normal was going to be. I needed to find something new. So what I began to learn in my isolation was I couldn't do it alone. I knew that. The old pieces of my puzzle, somehow they just weren't fitting anymore. So I had to accept that new normal. I knew I wasn't strong enough to do it alone, so I set out to start a new picture in my life. to rebuild the picture of my life, I had to build the border. You know how that goes. That was the support that holds everything together in my life. For me, it's my medical team, my family and friends. It's my supportive groups that I'm part of, and actually online communities. We think that's so important that I'm going to go through those step by step, starting with my medical team. The first piece of my border was so important that I knew I needed the best. So some of you may know my actual rheumatologist and his beautiful wife sitting to my right. This would be Dr. Dinesh Khanna, who was in charge of the University of Michigan Scleroderma program and still is. But not only is Dinesh the captain of my team, but he makes sure that I connect with the right specialist. It's a comprehensive idea that without it, I would be lost. For example, this next picture is of a hand therapist. We want the right therapist working with our patients. If they don't know the disease, they don't know what to do. They don't know my specific frustrations of picking a coin up off of a table that I'm unable to do. You also see trained nurses here. That was actually a CAR T patient, but the nurses are holding up a sign that says, "Happy 20th anniversary to you and your husband." That wasn't me, but that was another patient. How amazing are our nurses to go in for an IV infusion of Velitri or Flolan and then have somebody bolus you. You need the nurses who know what they're doing. It's so important. So I am buddies with my nurses. I check into that hospital and I'm like, I'm your new friend. Also on my team, I chose doctors that are really involved in research and so blessed. Mary and I both really believe in that. We're so blessed to be part of the research. That's probably why we're here today. But you get to pick who's on your team and your patients get to pick. And if you're on that team, you should feel blessed because they trust you. I'm just saying. Well, I'm going to skip my Dinesh funny story because we don't have time. But I have a funny story about Dinesh if you ever want to hear it. Family and friends were so important and still are, and I hope they are for your support system. But family and friends are just the people that are your peeps, right? They show up. Their presence, whatever they do for you, whether it's relatives, chosen family, people, neighbors, faith communities, whatever you pick or whatever your patients pick, what truly matters is that they're there for you. The third piece of my puzzle of the border, remember I'm still putting together my border if you forgot that, this is groups. And groups for me was super important, whether that be a support group, whether that be peer mentoring. In my case, I love peer mentoring, which I'll tell you about, or even a Renew health coaching situation that I'll tell you more on. The first one, in support groups can be amazing, but some people are really just scared of them probably, or they've never been to one. So you have to be really careful with that. In this photo, I did find through the National Scleroderma Foundation a great reason to go on a walk with my family and raise some money. You also will see I have a faith-based community and some really strong women that rally around me when I need it. Even I volunteer for other things. I don't really have a job. It's just where can I spend my time to give me the most energy, right? So support groups don't have to just be support groups, or you don't even have to call them support groups if that's scary to your patients. Dry mouth is taking me on. Peer mentoring is one of my favorite. Oh my goodness, when do you get a chance as a patient to talk one-on-one with other patients and make them feel supported? Peer mentoring at University of Michigan, Mary and I helped kick that off in the scleroderma realm. And you might have peer mentoring at your health facilities, but they may be like a one-time, one and done, a kidney donor, for example. If you don't have a peer mentoring program, oh my goodness, you're gonna want to come talk to us and we'll show you what this is. But right there's 9 peer mentors at the University of Michigan who connect, and these are just our scleroderma peer mentors. We have them all over, but I can't tell you how important it is to connect patients. So there's our 9 wonderful mentors. This is also a mentee. I had to drag her to Chicago a few years ago for a scleroderma convention. We painted our faces. Part of it's just having fun and forgetting about your disease for a minute. There's Mary and one of her mentees, Gina. Another favorite for me is Renew Health Coaching. So health coaching is really just another word for peer mentoring, but you can spin it however you will. But Renew was a great program where we could see as health coaches people taking charge of their own medicine, of their own life. And it's simply a app. Why couldn't I think of that word? Brain fog just starts in there. And this app is available to people. It's something we can tell you about. But the Renew Health Coaching, you had an app where you were actually setting goals. And then in addition to it, you got a health coach to meet with you online, is how we have done it. I'm sure you could do it in person. But there you see 4 of our wonderful health coaches. And we have to highlight Adam because he's not here. And he's a detective, so he's got a real JOB, so he can't just, do what Mary and I do. But Adam was a patient-gone health coach, and he's amazing. And in Scleroderma, to find supportive men that will share their story. If you have those, we will do anything for Adam. Adam, what do you need? And his wife is right on the journey with us. So it's such a great relationship. Online communities, especially during COVID, is when we saw that happen. But what we really love is we just had silly fun. We're called we call ourselves the Scleroderma Backers, and it's an icon we didn't put up, but we have your back. And here you see us doing a holiday contest one day. The next one, we host crazy things like Family Feud or Bingo online. And we had a Halloween dress-up contest. And here, I guess it doesn't even need any description, but I did dress up as my true leader, Dinesh Khanna. And, what do you think? Did I do an okay job? All right, awesome. So you see that we're doing non-clinical and clinical things together, and this helps reduce that feeling of isolation. When they can laugh at me and we can laugh together, it's an amazing win-win for everyone. So how do you puzzle? Just think about it real quick. Logically, I know how I puzzle. I like to flip all the pieces, do the border, and then I start working on groups, like maybe colors, or here's a cute puppy. Let's start with the puppy. My son, oh no, the engineer in my son, he wants to not flip over any pieces. I think he really just wants me to flip the pieces because it's a boring thing. But anyways, think about how you puzzle. He flips the pieces, does not do the border, and just digs in. How do you puzzle? How many of you do the border first? Come on, let's just see border people. How many of you no rhyme or reason, willy-nilly, like my son, put it together whenever? Yeah, see, there's hardly any of you out there. I'm going to tell him he's wrong. But anyways, for me, no matter what your preference is for that border, once the border is built and secure, remember, that's my medical team, my friends and family, my support groups. Those are all those pieces, those border important pieces. One by one, though, slowly, as we flip them and find out what fits, section by section, that picture, you can start to see it, right? You start to see the new insights, and then we begin to accept what that new normal is. You kind of learn as you go. You learn to be a better advocate for yourself, others, and you adjust to changing your role, but staying engaged because those pieces have to come together somehow. The Scleroderma puzzle that I was given was not the picture of life that I particularly wanted, but by constantly flipping those pieces, learning new things from research and other patients and other doctors, each piece tells my story. That's so important. My story of resilience, of connection and strength, but not by myself. There is no more isolation because that just didn't work. How many of your patients are still doing it alone? It does not work. So you see, my new picture of life, it's okay. I love it, actually. I'm blessed with it. The one that shattered earlier, that's no longer my new normal. Today, first of all, I hope you'll all on your way home, maybe in the gift shops, buy a puzzle. So therapeutic if you like to puzzle. But today, you just heard one story, just one, with a life-changing diagnosis. We gave you ideas on how building a border can transition people from isolation to really community and connection, which is the most important takeaway from today. But now, how are you going to go back and integrate this tomorrow? What do you do to build a connected support system? Well, today you are the key piece of this puzzle. And it's not pressure, but Mary and I took something like a simple jigsaw puzzle, and my personal story, that was it, and tried to connect with you today, and we hope we did. But we need you because you're the key piece to people's puzzles. Through tried and true patient experience, this is what we know, that isolation is not at all working. So you could do things like integrate peer mentoring, support patient-led groups, refer just a patient one-on-one. There is something called HIPAA, I get it. But the first time I met Dinesh, he said to me, "Can I give you Mary's phone number?" He had already asked Mary for that. And he didn't give me Mary's phone number because that's not how it works, but he made sure we were in the same place at the same time. Wow, my life changed from that minute on. You can partner with Renew. There's so many things to do, but let's not stop that discussion here. We hope that you're going to support non-clinical resources to give patients a complement to their very medical needs. This was just a short time, even though it probably seemed long, to tell you about the endeavors that we're trying to do. But today we hope that you'll take a piece of the puzzle with you. Mary and I have, you can take a picture of the screen too, but Mary and I have our new website called Chronic Crusaders on there, and our email. And of course on the back, the Renew program through our amazing doctors, Yun Chen and Susan Murphy, who they include us in everything. As patients, we got to meet with Big Pharma and talk about dreams and hopes and wishes. Pretty cool. So thank you for this time. If there's any questions, do I really have a minute and a half left?
Actually, you're a minute and a half.
Oh gosh, okay, sorry.
It's okay.
We'll be hanging
It's okay.
around, so thank you very much.
Perhaps we can hold on to questions. Thank you. Thank you. No worries. That was a phenomenal talk. And I do need to take a snap of that picture of DK
Okay, of
so that I
course.
can embarrass him later.